Many military leaders played a pivotal role in the American Revolution. Some of them, or many of them actually, were not even born in this country. They came from other parts of the world to assist in the American dream, the revolution. One such leader was Dr. Edward Hand from Ireland. In honor of Dr. Hand and his Irish heritage, we have a spectacular menu planned for you. We're starting off with an Irish cabbage soup that is done with pork dumplings, a stuffed pork stomach with pan gravy, and sautéed leeks with Irish bacon. I salute Dr. Edward Hand of Ireland and all his compatriots with a taste of history. My cabbage soup I'm making today, which uses Savoy cabbage, which was a very, very dominant cabbage in the 18th century. Once you prepare it, it comes together relatively quickly. I want to cut up some onions. Now I'm going to cut a little bit of my bacon down. It's a beautiful slab of bacon I got here. Just taking the outer skin off, but I'm not going to throw this away. It goes right in the soup for flavor. Now you can make it finer, you can make it bigger. I got some garlic that I just want to take the skin off and chop it real coarse. The bacon will go in together with some schmaltz, pork schmaltz. It's really coarse for that. Schmaltz. Garlic. Onion. Bacon. Blend it together. You want to get the flavor from the bacon, the onion, and the garlic. We want to make sure it doesn't get too hot because I got to do some more things that go in there. I got some potatoes, Irish whites. I'm just going to cut them really coarse. You can cut them in a dice, put this into the mixture that's already on the fire. So now I'm going to just add some of the stock right in there. You don't need really any stock in that because there's so much goodness in there already. Regular water would work because you're going to get the cabbage or the meatballs in there, not to worry. All right, I have some ground pork over here. Nutmeg, 3 eggs, you do the trick, some breadcrumbs, and now I should mix that. All right, almost there. I just put the chives on and it will do the trick. Put this in here, mix it up. Now, when you put the meatballs in, you want to make sure that your stock is boiling as you add them into it. Because while it can disintegrate a little bit, which is actually what you want to make sure the meatballs will firm themselves. How many you want to do doesn't really make a difference. Now we're going to let it simmer a little bit. You want to give the pork balls a chance to cook all the way through. So let me wash my hands in my 18th century sink. Wow. That's what I like about 18th century cooking. The flavors come through so well because it's not too many things in there. The cabbage for this recipe, I pay tribute to one of the great gastronomes in my mind. He was also our third president, Thomas Jefferson. Grew Savoy cabbage all over his yard. I love Savoy cabbage. It's maybe underrated by many people, but to me it's one of the finest. All you gotta do, really simple. Just cut it, take out the heart. There we go. For this pot behind me, 2 heads would be good. I just cut it like that. Really easy. I'll do a little bit more because the cabbage wilts to nothing, as you know, if you cook the cabbage before. Let it cook for maybe 5 to 10 minutes max. Parsley really coarse, and serve up this spectacular cabbage soup with pork dumplings. The sweetness of the Savoy cabbage comes through. It's so unbelievably beautiful. You must make this recipe at home as soon as you can.
Many of the colonial commanders who played a pivotal role in the American Revolutionary War were not even born on American soil. Some sought honor and recognition or had a vendetta with the British. Others were mercenaries and some initially came to America with the British Army, but felt that they now owed their allegiance to their new country. General Edward Hand was born in Kings County, Ireland in 1744. He had earned his medical certificate at Trinity College in Dublin.
He came to America with the British Army originally as a surgeon. After he finished his service with the British Army, he decided to remain in Pennsylvania as a medical doctor in private practice.
After the battles at Lexington and Concord, the Continental Congress authorized 8 Pennsylvania companies of riflemen to organize into one rifle battalion.
Battalion was an interchangeable word for regiment in those days.
Like many patriots, Hand's political allegiance had changed. He now supported America's desire for independence, and his loyalty to his adopted country could not be denied. So he enlisted with William Thompson's riflemen. The regiment fought at many of the important early battles of the Revolutionary War, including the battles of Bunker Hill, Three Rivers, Brooklyn, and the Battle of Trenton. In early 1776, Thompson's Rifle Battalion became known as the 1st Continental Regiment, and command of the regiment was given to Lieutenant Colonel Edward Hand.
General Hand was with Washington's crossing of the Delaware with Washington. That happened on Christmas night, 1776.
Hand was one of General George Washington's most valued and trusted subordinates. He was promoted to Brigadier General by mid-1776 and subsequently sent to Fort Pitt, where he had once served in the British Army. During his tour of duty, he was in charge of protecting the western frontier from invasion by Native Americans who were loyal to the British. He was recalled to the Eastern Theater and served the remainder of the war under Major General Lafayette. Hand was instrumental in the planning of the Siege of Yorktown, which resulted in the surrender of General Cornwallis and culminated in the ending of the war.
After the war, Hand returned home to Lancaster, and he resumed his medical practice here.
Hand remained politically active, serving in the Continental Congress, the Pennsylvania Assembly, and becoming a signatory of the Pennsylvania Constitution.
When I researched the recipe for today's show in honor of the great surgeon General Hand, I went to my repertoire of a lot of recipes that I have for my days in Ireland. But then I kind of put a twist into it because what I'm making today is a dish that is still actually served pretty often in the Amish country. And since he lived out in Lancaster and hung around, I figured I'd combine the both. What it is, it's a stuffed pork stomach. I know what you're going to think, but trust me, it's a delicious recipe. So let me get started because there are many, many steps involved. The first thing I'm doing right now, chop down fat back, the fat that comes off the belly of the pig. The base of the filling for the pork stomach is potato, onions, mushroom, and everything else adds into it. And it binds it with egg and a little bit of breadcrumb. So I'm going to just blanch them 95% done, because when it's later in the pork stomach, which takes quite a while to cook, I'll explain this later, you want to make sure that the potatoes will be completely done, but not necessarily disintegrated. Potatoes right in. Now, if you have the steamer, you could steam them as well, same idea. Next, I'm going to take some mushroom, take the stem off, and cut the thing in quarters, or you can do what's better for this particular recipe, break them by hand. Either way you like it. You want to get the flavor of the mushroom through, add it right in on top. Want a good amount of onions in there. Important is no color. You see, they're completely translucent. Next I'm going to cut is the Irish bacon. The Irish bacon, you just want to cut slices. And I'm just doing a dice. When it was more rustic, I would assume they weren't really working this detail as I'm working today, but it goes right in here. Now I add in some ground pork. Like so, it's about enough for that. Now comes the most important part of this recipe, and this is the blood sausage. I'll just take the skin off. So the blood sausage is a regular, generic blood sausage. If you never had blood sausage, you don't know what you're missing. Now comes my breadcrumbs. My potatoes are still on the fire. You can omit the egg. It doesn't necessarily need an egg for binding. I have some pulled thyme, I might as well add it now. Put them on the nutmeg. Pepper. They won't need a lot of salt because the Canadian bacon or the Irish bacon already has plenty sodium. They're just about ready. All I would do with them now, take them out of the blanching. I always liked Irish white, even before I knew about Thomas Jefferson, that he was in love with it. It's just a lot of flavor. Not easy to find. Substitute is Yukon Gold, but they're really beautiful. Different flavor, sweeter, and obviously beautiful white. Makes great mashed potatoes too. For the recipe today, I wouldn't put them in hot. That's why I made some already ahead of time. The smaller you cut the potato, the less chance you take that they'll be undercooked. A little bit more breadcrumbs on there. What I'm doing now is I'm going to mix this all together neatly. Remember, the onions got to be cold, the potatoes got to be blanched and be cold. Everything else is already cooked, short of the egg that's going to cook later in the belly. If you feel like you have other flavors you want to incorporate into it, there's really no right, no wrong. Whatever you feel will enhance your dish. Now, if you've never seen a pork stomach, you might be surprised. And what you do is you take your stuffing and you make it into small amount of balls to add it into it. Also, the stomach has a little bit of thing on the side. So what you want to do is you want to stuff it as well. This entire bowl will almost go in here. It's going to shrink a little bit, but not a lot. Look at it, the entire bowl is in here. All right, the butcher twine. And you want to tie them up on the end over here. Roasting pan. Okay, now my baby goes in here. All you want to do is a little salt and pepper, and in the oven it goes 1.5 to 2 hours, depending what temperature you finally adjust it. I started off at 4 1/4, get a nice brown, and then I cut it down to like 3 1/4, and then a little farther down so that the inside is completely cooked and all in harmony. This is 2 hours later. Cook it really slow until the outer skin gets nice and crispy. I'm gonna just put this over here. You heard me talk about the drippings. These are the drippings right here. So those drippings are like gold. It's gonna sit right here while I really quickly chop some root vegetables. The onions, for that, I'm gonna cut really coarse. The carrot, I just cut on a bias. Turnips, I'm gonna cut in a julienne. I get my parsnip, cut a quick dice on that, just to chop it down. The celery root. In essence of time, I had my assistant Antonio pre-peel them for me. The julienne on that, finer julienne. The turnip doesn't take any time to cook. The celery root takes more time, so we're going to cut it finer. Now we got to do is just cut the rutabaga, schmaltz. Then comes the onion. For this recipe, I want to get a little flavor, so I want to make the onions more like toasted. Carrots, turnip, parsnip, celery root, rutabaga, all in here. Big on the fire. We're going to sweat it down, and the reason I cut the way I cut it is because of the length that it takes to cook the vegetable. The harder vegetable I cut finer, the softer I cut bigger. So now I'm going to put all the drippings from the pork stomach right in here to my veg. And we're ready to serve it up. Okay. All right. Boom. Look how nice it reduced down. It's all from the pink gravy. And now comes the moment we're waiting for. It goes on top. There are many ways people serve it. In slices, lay it out. I like the way my research shows that it was just opened and people would eat it out with a spoon. Oh, gel hand. You're in for a treat today. The flavor, the herbs, the different ingredients, just absolutely spectacular.
In February of 1776, Washington decided that he needed colors so that they could find out where regiments were in the field. They weren't blessed with cell phones, so they matched green from the flag, green from the facing. So it all tends to go together, even the same insignia painted on their drums.
Irish-born soldier Edward Hand conceived the original design depicted on the flag of the 1st Continental Regiment, a design that proved remarkably uncommon.
This is the only known copy, at least at the time, of a regimental flag having insert sewn into them. Most of them were just a large piece with a painting right on it. The symbolism of the flag, the hunter, as they call him, is the United States. The lion is Britain in toils, which meant a net. Underneath you see the scroll. It's in Latin, domare nolo, which means I refuse to be subjugated. And most of the flags from the Revolutionary War period did have Latin. The PM, first RT up at the top, we think that means Pennsylvania Militia, 1st Regiment. It does imply that this is the 1st Regiment, because that was one of the things Washington wanted. He wanted some indication of the number of the regiment. The picture of the hunter, it looks very, very, very much like Edward Hand. The eyes and the nose and the elongated face.
While many agree the face of the hunter bears a striking resemblance to General Hand, there was much about the actual design that was left to interpretation.
Our photographs showed that there were two things over his shoulders. One was very large going down, and then there was another small one on the back. And we determined that this was a patch sewed onto the flag, so it was not part of the original flag. Yet every flag that had been reproduced up to that point had indicated that that was part of his uniform, whatever it was.
The patches on General Hand's flag are a perfect metaphor for the Continental Army and the nation building yet to come.
When they were discharged at the end of the war, nobody gave them any money. They could go away with their muskets and equipment, but they had to sell that in order to finance their walk home. They had to walk home.
What do you eat as an accompaniment with something that we just served? Cabbage, we already made in the soup. The root vegetables are incorporated already in our stuffed pork stomach. I thought maybe a beautiful stewed leek. And leek is as equally Irish than is cabbage. And the reason for that is that leeks, as we see it right here in front of us, can winter extremely well. In other words, you leave them on the field. When you need them, you take them out. So nature's freezer will have them. So leeks would have been around all winter long. And it was also another refreshing thing to see some of the green in there. Now, this recipe calls for a few things. I have some bacon, Irish bacon, and I have lard that I use. I'm just right now going to chop up some garlic really quick, really coarse, by the way. Garlic in here, on that side. I have my little onions. Just going to chop them quick. Put it on the plate. Got lard here. Get a little heat to it. So I'm going to chop up some bacon. When you have bacon like that, which is beautiful smoked, you don't throw away the skin. You put the skin right in it as flavor. When most people think of bacon and see the layer packed bacon you get in the grocery store, they don't realize that bacon by itself has a tremendous amount of flavor. It's been around for a long time because that is a preservative. The schmaltz, the bacon, all comes together in harmony. One of the things you want to do, you want to wash the leeks. Leeks have a tendency to keep sand in it, it's tight. So you want to cut the end off like that, and then basically you just want to cut the veg like so, in about like 2-inch pieces. Get to the green part, but not too much, because the green part will make it bitter. So I have a little stock I pre-made already. Any stock would work, anything at all. You add a little stock into it just to assist on the steaming of the leek. You're going to see in a moment how this leek will wilt, literally. I have some Irish bacon that I love to put a little bit into it. Bacon on top right now. And about 8-10 minutes, everything blanches down together and you're ready to go. I'm going to put a lid on it to preserve the steam. The sound of the leek behind me is just so spectacular. It's ready. I'm going to get it to my table and dish it out for General Hand. Voila. Such an underrated vegetable. So much flavor, so much goodness, and so 18th century. In my trip today to General Hand, I'm going to finish the meal with a nice Irish soda bread. Here we go. Look at that, Anna.
Hi there, Chef.
And soda bread has a very interesting history. And I will tell you, there are as many recipes for soda breads as there are grandmothers, I'll tell you.
Let's get started.
Okay.
It's just pretty much a biscuit method with a couple different ingredients. So here we're starting with pastry flour, 4 cups. And to that, we're going to add some cake flour. This is about 1/2 cup. We will add the rest of our dry ingredients. We have 1/4 cup of baking powder. We also have baking soda, of course.
It's referred many times to as Irish soda bread because the amount of baking soda that goes into it.
1/4 cup of granulated sugar. And if you'll just give me a teaspoon of salt. Fantastic. Just regular kosher salt. We have 1/2 stick of butter.
Gonna incorporate.
Exactly. It's nice and cold, not softened at all. And I'm just going to work it together. Even with my fingers, you could absolutely use a fork until just like a pie crust, just like biscuits, pea-sized pieces of butter. All right, buttermilk next. Buttermilk, of course, helps activate those chemical leaveners we have in there. 2 1/4 cups.
2 1/4 cup.
I like it a little bit more moist.
Yeah, some of the soda breads I've had in my days, you need to put 5 pounds of butter on it so you can just eat it.
So if you will grab the soaked raisins, when you're baking it, the raisins can get burnt when they're sticking out of the top. And the caraway seed,
How much caraway seed do you want in there?
Let's do a couple tablespoons. I like to go heavy on that. Of course, if you don't like them as much,
2 tablespoons, you gotta like
no
them.
problem. No proofing. It can go straight into the oven. Once we're done mixing here, and you'll go about 350 on your oven temperature for 25 to 30 minutes. Check it, halfway through to make sure that it's cooking evenly, and it'll just be nice and brown. And here it is, nice sticky loaf. We're gonna drop it right onto our sheet pan here. You don't wanna flatten it out at all. You leave it in a nice round loaf. Toss it in the oven at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes, and voila.
Thank you, Diana, for showing me how to make the Irish soda bread.
Thank you, Chef.
The story of Dr. Hand exemplifies the spirit of many soldiers and immigrants that came to America.